want to be in a position of having to tell you the differences between him and I. I've always felt that leads to negativity in politics, but I do think you deserve to know what they are. And I think you deserve to know what they are from the candidate's mouth. And I would love the opportunity to have debates where we're going to agree on a lot of things because we're both Republicans, and most Republicans and Democrats agree on most things. But there are some fundamental things that we disagree on. And only through a debate and only through answering questions are we going to be able to get to those and what those mean. So I've asked him for a series of 10 debates. When he ran for governor in 2006, he challenged Tom Gallagher to 12 debates. And so I've asked him basically the exact same challenge. So far, they've not taken us up on it. But as I've said, I'm willing to work around his fundraising schedule. In essence, I'm willing to go to anywhere I need to in the country in order to do that debate. I may have to go to the Hamptons. I may have to go to New York. I may have to go to Georgia. Wherever I have to go to do the debate, I'm willing to do it. Because I think it's that important.
Question for you. I teach American government at Trinity College of Florida, and we do a lot of exercises with our students in terms of Constitution, constitutional framework, and also the outpouring of public policy. So in keeping with the spirit of this evening and the focus of the group, my question to you is, what specific policies would you advocate that would strengthen the family? And conversely, what policies do you believe exist today which undermine the family?
Well, that's an interesting question, because I don't know even government. See, it's normal for someone who's in government. Okay, when you go to elected officials and say, we want you to help with this, strengthening the family. Well, there's only two things government can do. It can pass or abolish laws, or it can spend money on a program. And I'm not sure what laws or what programs ultimately lead to stronger families. By and large, people left alone in this country in a free and fair society do these things for themselves. It's a natural instinct. I was commenting to some folks as I was walking in, and it's something that's going to be part of my book, which is not just, I'm just kidding, I don't have a book, but I fly a lot of commercial flights as I get around these days. And one of the things I'm noticing every day that I get on an airplane, without fail, is that there's always some parent, maybe multiple parents sometimes, with their kids have this little blue tag on because they're flying by themselves halfway across the state or country. Where are they going? Well, they're usually going to visit a parent or coming back home from staying with a parent. It tells you how many divided families there are. But you should see the look on these parents' face. I mean, grown, strong men who start weeping when their 13-year-old daughter walks down the walkway out of an airplane. I mean, it's not like they're going to Afghanistan. I mean, they're probably going to, Miami or Jacksonville or back where their mom or dad may live. And yet, that connection, that natural connection between a parent and a child is so powerful. It's the reason why, I'm not talking about immigration policy here for a second, but just think through this. It's the reason why people jump fences and get on rafts and do these extraordinary things to come here, because the most powerful sentiment in the world is the desire of parents to give their children opportunities they didn't have. The most powerful sentiment I have ever felt is my desire to ensure that my kids, that the doors that were closed to me or the things that went wrong in my life go right for them. That's very powerful, very natural and instinctive. Every now and then someone doesn't have it, and that's just, it happens, but by and large people have that, and they want that for their kids, and they just want to be empowered to do it. And unfortunately, we've come to this notion that government programs, government spending, that we can somehow create these agencies that can strengthen families. They can't. What strengthens families, first and foremost, is being able to raise your children in an environment where they realize that they are not the center of the universe. That's the most important thing you can teach a child. You are not the most important thing in the world. You're important because all human life has value, but the world does not revolve around you as an individual. The second most important thing you can teach a child is that there's more than just this life. That you don't just live 80 years and then go away. That there's something bigger than what you can see. If you don't believe those two things, if you can't inculcate those two things in your children, you set them up to fail. If this life is about 73 years and do what you can while you're here, you're usually don't turn out to be very productive people. And if you believe you're the center of the universe and life is about what makes you happy, irrespective of what it means to other people, you're usually not very good people. Most parents want to teach that to their kids, but they need communities, and more importantly, they need churches and faith communities that strengthen and assist them in that endeavor. Okay, and so I think that to me is what I would talk about.
I truly do believe you are the conservative voice that's never left the Republican Party, and I'd like to know a simple question. Are you taking contributions tonight, and to whom do I give it to?
Well, we are a low-budget campaign. Dennis, do I have the little envelope things here? Excellent. Dennis Blacks is here. Dennis, look, I appreciate you asking. I feel uncomfortable discussing that. I don't know. I, quite frankly, walk in everywhere paranoid to imperil anybody's tax status. So I don't want to imperil the tax status of this organization. But our campaign, look, that's what it depends on. Let me just give you an update on the fundraising of our campaign. We have raised $600,000. Our average donation is $64. We had donations from all 50 states and all 67 counties. Except Pasco. I'm kidding. And I'm kidding. That's not true. And although I encourage you to take the lead tonight in being the leading county, but we rely on that. Lobbyists, special interest groups, and PACs aren't going to raise money for us. Not now, anyways. They believe in traditional politics. They want to know who the winner is going to be, and they listen to polling and to the media. I can tell you this. We will accept any contributions made to the Marco Rubio campaign. That would be phenomenal if we could get some tonight, or you can do it online at marcorubio.com. But what I want you to know is that this campaign, I believe we're going to win. And the reason why I know we're going to win is because the vast majority of Republicans believe in what we're campaigning on. I mean, if you read some of the press clippings, they talk about this insurgent conservative campaign. I never thought I'd live to see the day where conservatives were insurgents in the Republican Party. But things have gotten to that point where somehow, being against the stimulus package, against cap and tax, and against, policy-making judges somehow made you an outsider in the Republican Party. And yet that's how this race is being couched. Those are the stakes. I don't believe that for a minute. And I will tell you this. I believe with all my heart that the vast majority of Republicans, given what I stand for and what my opponents stand for, will vote for us. And so all I need to do is raise enough money to get our message out. If we do, we will win. So I appreciate that question. Thank you.
Well, first of all, I appreciate and thank you for coming out, and especially for taking our questions. Speeches are wonderful, but we really need to get to know our candidates. And the only way to really get to know them is ask questions and probe into their beliefs. So I appreciate your willingness to take the time. I have several questions, but I'm going to ask one because I know there's a line. I guess this is probably a pretty basic question, but it's also, at this time, I feel like a lot of our legislators really don't even understand this question. What is your understanding of the legitimate and proper role of government as stated in our Declaration of Independence and the Constitution? And can you identify what those roles or that role is for the government?
Yeah, it's basically to do for us what we can't do for ourselves. And that means, like, we can't build roads for ourselves. We can't fight a war. So the government's job has to be to fight our war and protect our country. In the modern era, it's gotten more complicated, so there are a few more things that government has to do, like regulate internet stuff or, a banking system, or by and large. But mostly, the role of government is to create the rule of law and enforce that rule of law so that individuals can go out and compete in the marketplace and provide for themselves and their families and pursue their dreams. That's simplistic, but that's really the role of government. The role of government is to protect our rights. That's the role of government, is to protect our rights and to create laws and systems where our rights are protected, and to do for us only those things we cannot do for ourselves. It's not to create jobs. The role of government is not to create jobs. It's not to grow or stimulate the economy. I wish it were, by the way. I really do. I wish that government could stimulate the economy. I wish that by passing laws and spending money, government could stimulate the economy and create jobs. You know why I wish that? Because that's a lot easier than having to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and open your business. That's a lot easier than having to work 7 days a week for 20 years. It would be easier if the president could just wave his magic presidential wand and create jobs and opportunity. But the fundamental truth is that the only thing that really creates jobs and prosperity is the willingness of people to dream and then work hard in pursuit of their dreams, and to risk things in pursuit of those dreams. And that's why America is the only society, quite frankly, in human history, where a billionaire can be put out of business by someone born into poverty. Because the person born into poverty had a better idea, worked harder, and before you know it, the billionaire's out of business. That's a great thing. That's only possible in a country where the government doesn't pick the winners and the losers. And that's what's wrong with stimulus spending. Stimulus dollars go to people with lobbyists. I usually end when I hear applause, so thank you. It's a trick I've adopted. If people start clapping, you said what you have to say. Move on.
Maybe I'll take that cue. Thank you for coming. Thank you for taking our questions. I'm James Moore. I'm campaign for the Pasco County coordinator. I saw an interview of Newt Gingrich where he said that he called for covert operations, the U.S. to engage in covert operations to
destroy the only oil refinery in Iran